Hi, I want to quickly thank our sponsors, Fairfax Cryobank, for sponsoring this video. They are amazing. If you don't know them, they are the leading company for sperm donors. If you're on this journey, you may know what I'm talking about. You are looking to have a baby as a single mom, and part of that journey is choosing the right sperm donor for you and your little family. And how does one do that? Is it like Tinder? Is it like Hinge? How are we doing this? Well, I can walk you through it. You're actually going to sign in on the webs to Fairfax Cryobank, and you're going to use the code SingleMomMindset25, all linked below. And what you're going to do is you are going to browse tons of donors, okay? You get to choose their hair color, you get to choose their eye color, you get to choose their skin tone, you get to choose what education they have, what level of education, and you're going to get to browse pictures, childhood photos. You're going to get to see their medical history. For some of them, you're going to actually be able to hear audio files and hear them speaking, and their donor essays, which are things that they've actually handwritten themselves. You get to hear from the staff working there and their impressions of this donor who they've met and dealt with many times. And sometimes there's even celebrity lookalikes, which is kind of fun. So if you are looking to choose your donor and start this journey as a single mom by choice, or move it along, take that next step, you can sign in to fairfaxcryobank.com or .ca, depending on where you are, and use the code SingleMomMindset25. That's worth $149, by the way, that value. So do that right away and choose an amazing donor for you. That's what I did, and I have my happy little family. You've got this. Thanks again to our sponsors. Back to the video. Well, hello, welcome back. This week we are doing something a little different. It's something that I've kind of wanted to do for a while, and that is just have girl talk, a little just raw, honest conversation about life. I share so much on my channel and on my podcast about just like preparing yourself, how to have a baby, all like the, not necessarily educational, but like technical ways of preparing and all these things. But today I want to just share the real. I want to talk about the day-to-day and just be honest with you, and just the way that I do motherhood that, maybe you wouldn't, you know what I mean? It started because I get a lot of DMs. I got a lot of questions about the how, like, how do I prepare? What do I do? How do I up my egg count? I'm this and this age, and what do I do for this and that? And I get that, right? These are all important questions. They're important things to think about. But there's so much more to motherhood that I think we need to talk about. I've been doing it for 10 years now. My daughter's 10. What? I know. My son's 3.5. I have been a single mom for 9 years. It's a long time. And through that, I've honestly learned so much about myself and just about what motherhood really is. And just that nobody has all the answers, but I will say that it can be exceptionally challenging to be a mom nowadays, because I don't think the majority, some do, but the majority of us don't have a ton of people that we can depend on, and maybe family dynamics are different. Like when we were growing up, like I was often at grandparents and aunts, uncles' houses, and everyone was always kind of over, and it was such a different time. Like now everybody is just on their phones. Nobody's actually interacting. No one is really inviting people over. Like it's such a different time. And maybe that's just my family, and maybe I've just noticed it in like the people closest to me. But it's a thing. And I'm sure there are many of you that can relate, and that makes it hard. It makes it different. Like I don't have someone that I can just drop my kids off tomorrow that does things the way that I want them. Now, that's a whole other thing, in that I am a helicopter mom. I have always been, and that actually was an issue in my relationship with my daughter's father, in that I like things done a certain way and I'm very protective, and I'm always just thinking worst case scenario, and it's not great, but I see things before they happen. I'm always ultra prepared. I'm always extra careful. And because of that, when people don't think the way that I do, that they're not prepared and they're not thinking like, oh my God, careful, there's stairs, and oh my God, careful for this, and oh my God, this and this and this, it really stresses me out. And it can be really challenging because I like things done my way. And when you kind of let go of the reins a little bit and let people help, you have to chill the F out, which is not natural for me. Ta-da! So that's a challenge that I never really thought about before I became a mom, that you have to kind of let people in. And sometimes people, all of the time, people aren't going to do things exactly as you would do them necessarily. So kind of letting go a little bit and letting things be is part of it. And yeah, it's not easy for all of us. So that's a thing. Another thing that's just random, I'm just random with you right now, okay? Is my daughter is 10, as you know, and she has been asking me to have sleepovers with her friends. Why can't I go to this person's house? Why can't I stay there? Why can't I sleep there? Why can't I stay outside until the, midnight? Why can't I well, this and this friend is allowed, and she's allowed, and he's allowed, and they do this, and they've had sleepovers, and yada, yada. And another thing that it makes you realize is that you're not going to necessarily have the same rules as your kids' friends are going to have. And that is hard. You're also not going to have the same beliefs necessarily. You're also not going to have the same family structure, probably, if you're going to be a choice mom, or you are a choice mom like I am, right? There are so many things that we don't think about and that can make it extra challenging, like having to explain, like, hey, not everybody's family is the same, okay? Just because Sally is allowed to stay out until it's midnight and she's 10, that's great for Sally, okay? You're not Sally, okay? You don't have Sally's parents, and sometimes it is what it is, and that's it, sorry. And it can be really effing hard. I don't believe in sleepovers. When I was a kid, I did go to sleepovers, and there's some trauma that ensued because of that, okay? So, and you hear so many horror stories out there also. So it wasn't just me, it wasn't some crazy, just weird coincidence, okay? It happens. And, things that happen to our children, I won't get into the specifics, are often when they're in the care of people that you think are lovely, or people that you know, and people, so people think, yeah, but they're cousins, yeah, but they're family, yeah, but they're friends of a friend that I've known forever, and blah, blah, blah. I don't like it. You do you. Like, when it comes to motherhood, I'm the last person who's going to judge anybody. I don't do anything the traditional way, okay? My kids, with bedtime, I'm kind of flexible. If you want jelly beans after your breakfast, it's not going to kill anyone, like, within reason, okay? Like, I'm not a super strict mom, like, so I'm in no position to judge people for their choices, but there are a certain few things that for me are just non-negotiable. You're not sleeping at somebody's house. You don't need to. When they're older, maybe we'll revisit. We'll, circumstantial situation, maybe. We'll see, okay? Never say never. But right now at 10, and obviously the 3-year-old's not asking that, but at 10, no, you can't. Sorry. Period. There's just, like I said about how I don't have a ton of rules for, like, I have rules, but it's like the key things, like things that are dangerous, like sleepover, you can't stay out. My son's not allowed to run into the road like a lunatic, even though we live on a safe, not a ton of traffic street. He's not allowed to run into the road. The chances of anything bad happening, pretty slim. There's not a lot of traffic, but it scares the out of me. He's not allowed in the road, ever, unless he's with me holding hands. That's it. Other than that, you have to be on the grass. But then if he comes at me and says, hey, like I said, can I have a jelly bean? I just had my eggs. You can have some jelly beans. It's fine, within reason. So yeah, it's interesting how like we think, and it's so funny too, like we think I'm never gonna be like my parents, I'm never gonna this, that, and whatever. But it is incredibly hard to see that I am like my parents in some ways, that because my parents had their own business when I was probably about 5 up until about 12, I'd say. They were running a business together, and it was hard. Like my parents would pick me up after school, bring me and my brother to the warehouse, and we would like live in this like wood shop warehouse situation until we'd fall asleep in the van that we had at the time, and my mom would drive us back home. My dad would probably sleep there. Like it was like chaotic. They were building a business. It's crazy town, right? So for me, I'm a single mom. I don't have anybody else, right? It's just me, and I have my 2 kids and my business. So a lot of times I have that same guilt where it's like, guys, like I gotta check out for 2 hours. Like I gotta really hyper focus on this program. I gotta focus on this. I gotta do this. Like my son's napping right now. I hear him talking, reading his book, and I can't go in there like, hey, it's bedtime, go to sleep, it's enough, and take the book away because I'm filming this right now. Like it's hard to keep so many balls in the air at all times, especially when you're doing it on your own. And that's just fact. That's just how it is. I am and have been looking into hiring help, at least like a house manager to take care of the cleaning and to book schedules and do all those things because of my ADHD. And I get a little like, if you haven't noticed, I need structure, but I'm not great at creating the structure or sticking to it. So if I can kind of give that part of my life to somebody else to manage, that would really make things so much easier. But it's hard to find people that, you know, you want to have in your home all the time and be around so frequently. And it's a process. So we're in the middle of that process. I'm figuring it out. We're seeing whatever. I'll keep you updated. But yeah, it's hard. Being a mom and wearing all the hats is really fucking hard. And I'd be lying to you if I said that it wasn't. But I always come back to the fact that when I was with my ex and we were, you know, doing it the right way, the traditional way, I hate the right way, but I say it like that on purpose. It was fucking hard then too. I was doing Beachbody. I don't know if you've heard of Beachbody, like that business. I started doing that and I lost all my baby weight and I was feeling fantastic and I was talking to people about it and I was doing social media about fitness and wellness and all these things, which I'm still really passionate about and I really love those things, but it wasn't for me necessarily in that sense, like business-wise, because I wasn't passionate about it enough to talk about it to other people. It was more for me. But yeah, I was trying to build a business. I was working in corporate. I was living with my then fiance and our baby and doing all the things, but I was still paying for everything like I am now for the most part. I was still doing all of the meal planning, the cooking, the cleaning, the shoot, no one has underwear, got to do some laundry. Ooh, we're getting low on diapers, got to order diapers. Ooh, Kate, we're getting low on wipes. Ooh, she's, you know, her clothes is getting a little snug, you know, like we don't have a lot of options. She's outgrown a lot of stuff. Got to make an order or go shopping. Like just all the things were still on me anyway. So none of that has changed, like none of it. So I get so many people that are like, yeah, but if I had a partner, not always. Okay, there are partners that are fantastic, that are equal partners, that do carry their weight, that do contribute to a household, and you don't have to give them a list. Like to me, if you're going to do the groceries, it's great for our home, you're going to do the groceries, but I have to provide a detailed list of the items that we need for our home. You're not an equal partner. To me, that's an extra job. I go to the grocery store almost without a list the majority of the time. Sometimes I'll write things down like, oh shoot, we need detergent, and last time I went I forgot to grab it. So key things that I don't pick up every week, then yeah, okay, sometimes I'll make a note like we need toilet paper or, you know, detergent, laundry detergent, dryer sheets, whatever, little things like that so I don't forget. But yeah, like I know what I'm buying every week. I know what the kids eat. I know what they don't eat. I know what I like. I know You know what I mean? I know when I pick up ground beef, what I'm probably gonna cook with that, the 3 or 4 things I have on a rotation that we all enjoy. You know what I mean? So if I have to explain all of that to you and unpack it, and hey, hon, if you get that, you also got to make sure that we have enough cumin, and you also, like, all the stuff that I'm carrying, all the mental load that is just invisible to everybody else, I was carrying it then. But then there was also this man who was laying on the couch while I was sweeping. Like, did that make my life so much easier? No, it made it so much more frustrating. Like, get up, like, I want to beat you with this broom, sir. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't make life easier. And yeah, in the future, having a partner who's an equal partner, who knows how to, like, feed himself and knows how to do a grocery run and knows how to clean a toilet and knows how to pick up his dusty, crusty underwear off the floor and put them in the wash, like, yes, done, sold. I love the idea, okay? I love love. I really do. I have not given up on it. I promise. I have not given up on it. But it needs to be like, if you're taking away my energy in the worst ways, like I'm resenting you because you do not, like, you're like an extra child. No, thank you. Please be gone. Like, no. So yeah, that's just a little of what's been on my mind lately. I mean, it's just, motherhood is such a beautiful thing. It's just, I think it's so important to be honest that when you're doing it alone, it's hard. When you're doing it with a partner, it's hard. When you're doing it with a big village, it's hard. When you're doing it with no village, it's really fucking hard. But I wouldn't change it. I wouldn't change it, okay? I wouldn't. And I've never met a mom who said that she would change it, especially moms like us, choice moms that are doing it with intention and, you know, taking the steps to make it happen. It's not single mom who, you know, thought she was going to be with this person for the rest of her life and they end up splitting up and she's like, and scrambling and struggling and all of this heartache and whatever. It's such a different thing. And I think that people fail to realize that, like, when you're going into this decision, it's so radically different than being, you know, widowed, God forbid, or, you know, it's a nasty divorce, or there's affairs involved, and all these like things that are so heavy that just add on to the solo motherhood part of it. And those things make it exceptionally difficult. Do you know what I mean? So I think when people think single mom, they often think of, you know, the people that are by circumstance and by shit luck or whatever, and are not thinking single mom by choice. Like, this is a woman that actively chose this, who's done the work, who's gotten herself financially stable, she's got herself in a good position, she's got a good job or business or whatever she's got going on. Like, she's got a good head on her shoulders, she knows what she's getting herself into, she's made a support system for herself. Like, she's going into this emotionally, mentally, spiritually in a good spot. Like, it's so different than people realize. So yeah, I just wanted to be honest with you guys. I think it's important to have these conversations and just not always paint it as it's butterflies and rainbows, because it's not, it's truly not. But yeah, I wouldn't change it for the world. I truly wouldn't. I wouldn't go back in time and stay with my ex just so I had somebody. Like, it's just, it's not that cut and dry. It's not that, yeah, I'm happy with where I'm at. Still in the process of baby number 3. My appointment with my fertility doctor got pushed back another week. So it's next week now, which is annoying because the waiting is frustrating. Like, we missed an entire cycle, so I have to wait again. So that is disappointing, but I'm trying to trust that this all happens for a reason, and because of my iron levels and all of these things, that it's all for the greater good. You know, fingers crossed. But yeah, that's really it for this week. I'm really curious what you think of solo motherhood. Like, if you are somebody that is on this journey and hasn't had your baby yet, or maybe you're pregnant or you're deciding still, what do you envision solo motherhood to be like? I want you to write that below. And if you are a choice mom, I would love it if you could share what your experience as a solo mom is like. And we can kind of maybe have a conversation, all of us, in the comment section, and kind of the moms that are doing it can help the ladies that are on this journey or thinking about it, and yeah, help each other out and have a good conversation and support one another, because community is so incredibly important, especially on a journey like this. And who knows, you might even find lifelong friends in here. You never know. So thank you so much. Just a reminder, I have programs and resources. I have free things. I have paid programs that are really life-changing. All of those things are linked below to help you live your best independent life. So check those out, and I'll see you next week. Like, comment, share, and subscribe. Bye.